A musical organist entertains first-class passengers on an airplane in 1959. A dog is riding in a car in 1961. There's a traveling knife sharpener with a customer. This is in the United States in the early 1910s. The pulsar, a combined computer calculator and wristwatch, in 1975. The Lanchester, a 38-horsepower tourer from 1913. During 1936 and 1943, Kentucky had packhorse librarians. These rescued Vietnam War prisoners of war are flying home via Operation Homecoming in 1973. Charles I, Emperor of Austria, is crowned Charles IV, the last King of Hungary, December 30th, 1916. The woman is standing. She's holding a satchel with a strap over her shoulder. She has a hat, a long coat, and a skirt. She is wearing gloves. An electric taxi, New York, 1898. An autochrome shot of an Arab woman. This was taken on the 31st of July, 1918. You can see her jewelry and the colors of the fabric. A 1912 photo shows a woman plugging in her electric car. December 1936. Barnyard Buddies. The William Helmke Farm near Dickens, Iowa. Kitty Cat and Piglet are sharing a musical. Mary Wellens, the first female bus driver in Chicago, 1974. Al Jolson and a Cadillac touring car at the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco, 1927. That was the year he made talkie history in The Jazz Singer. Myrna Loy. She was born in 1905. She was an American actress. She had a career spanning from the 1920s to the 1980s. She was known for her sophisticated and witty roles. She was often cast opposite William Powell in the Thin Man series. She also appeared in films like The Great Ziegfeld and Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House. She died in 1993. British comedian and actor Richard Hearn tries to play basketball against Harlem Globetrotters teammates J. Walter Kennedy and Murphy Simmons for a charity game in 1963. Great Britain won the Olympic football tournament, defeating Denmark in the final. This happened during the 1912 Stockholm Olympics. The world's largest gold nugget, called the Welcome Stranger Nugget, was found in Australia in 1869. A clown rider is with his trick mule at a rodeo. This was in Quemado, New Mexico, in June of 1940. Snow, Washington, D.C., after the blizzard of January 1922. Two Armenian women are posing with their rifles before going to battle against the Ottomans in 1895. (1916). A Hopi Indian on his donkey stands on the edge of a high mountain. Soviet soldiers are celebrating the victory over Germany at the Reichstag building in Berlin in May 1945. New Year's Eve in France, 1940. Haruo Nakajima and Momoko Kochi on the set of Godzilla 1954. Alright, a mobile home in the 1930s. Well, it was a tiny little house on wheels. Think of a small rectangular box, usually around 10 feet wide, and maybe 20 to 30 feet long. They were pretty simple, built with wood and metal, sometimes even canvas. Inside, you'd have a small living space, a tiny kitchen, and maybe a small bedroom or two. They were designed to be towed by a car, so they weren't exactly luxurious. Ted Bundy's yearbook photo from 1965. Babe Ruth posing with African-American fans in 1925. Baseball historian Bill Jenkinson says Babe Ruth wasn't racist. Munich, 1938. Warsaw, 1968. Graffiti saying, "Occupiers go home," protesting the Warsaw Pact invasion of Czechoslovakia, 1968. There's a soldier carrying tea in London, 1939. Sir David Attenborough as a young man, late 1950s. Cuban King, Congo, 1947. The Kingdom of Cuba, also known as the Kingdom of Bakuba, was situated in the southeast of what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Central Africa, close to the Sankuru, Lulua, and Kasai rivers. Members of the Fleetway House Golfing Society are playing with a giant golf ball on the putting green in 1928. A Japanese samurai archer in 1870. Men Overboard, New York, 1917. This is the landship USS Recruit, a wooden destroyer set up in Union Square as a Navy recruiting station. It's Otto von Bismarck on his deathbed in 1898. A circus performer in an aquarium car with crocodiles. This was in Berlin, 1933. (1959) Volkswagen offered an optional coffee maker. Martin Luther King Jr. and President Lyndon Johnson are meeting here in the White House on March 18, 1966. Driving class at Michigan Highland Park Universe, 1939. Tallahassee, Florida. A crowd and a Ku Klux Klan member at one of the Klan rallies. That was in September 1956. (1949) Nash Air Flight, first sleeper car. The year is 1939 and we're at a topless beach. (1866) Captured Maori of the Pai Marire Church on a prison hulk in Wellington Harbor. These prisoners were captured from Wararoa Pa by British forces. Pai Marire was a religion and anti-colonial movement. Beachwear from 1945 to 1950. Alphonse Bertillon, from 1853 to 1914, was a well-known French police officer and researcher in biometrics. He's famous for coming up with the mugshot in 1883. David Bowie at the age of 16. A United States Air Force lieutenant is held captive by a young North Vietnamese soldier in 1967. Richard Byrd's giant snowmobile aboard the North Star in Boston on November 14, 1939. Soldiers are inspecting sculptures on the grounds of the hacienda. This was during the 1980s, and it's about Pablo Escobar. In 1963, United States President John F. Kennedy delivered his famous speech, "I am a Berliner," on the square in front of Schöneberg Town Hall. That's an Obise da 30,517, a huge Italian howitzer. It's one of less than 50 produced during the war in 1917. Someone is looking at erotic comics. It's 1942 in the United States. Fifth Avenue, New York, 1949. This is about the screenette, a modesty device for beachgoers back in the 1920s. It was a portable dressing room that was made of oiled silk and supported by a frame of light wood. The screenette was designed to shield the wearer from the sun and the prying eyes of other beach visitors while they were changing. The inventor claimed the screenette could be erected in under 60 seconds. A YMCA mobile canteen serves soldiers next to an anti-aircraft battery. It's November 1940. In the 1940s, a Hollywood studio hosted an open casting call for black cats to star in a film. The first picture of Earth from the Moon was taken in 1966 by Lunar Orbiter 1. There's an African-American military policeman on a motorcycle. He's in front of the colored MP entrance in Columbus, Georgia. This was in 1942. Saratoga Springs, New York, around 1901. This is an atrium in the House of Panza. It's a replica of an ancient Roman home at the Pompeia, which is a museum in the upstate New York resort town. During World War II, women worked in welding. In 1943, the demand for welders grew, especially for women, due to the need for war supplies. Before the war, only about 1% of welders were women. By 1943, the number of women welders increased to nearly 2%. Some women were trained by the government, while others were trained on the job by companies. The women worked in various industries, including shipbuilding and aircraft manufacturing. A German soldier is setting fire to buildings in Warsaw. This happened during the deliberate destruction of the city. It was ordered by Heinrich Himmler as retaliation for the Warsaw Uprising, with the goal of crushing the Polish nation. This took place in September 1944. In 1926, Ralph Miller spars with 10-month-old Battling Vaughn, a member of the Melford Kennels Athletic Club of Los Angeles. Buzz Aldrin took the first ever selfie in space in 1966. Someone found a weird photo online. The title said it's from page 896 of The American Florist, a weekly journal for the trade from 1885. They want a special note about the person's feet. Lucille Mulhall at 101 Ranch in 1909. A woman mourns after the U.S. Navy downs an Iranian passenger jet on July 3, 1988, carrying 290 civilians, including 66 children. Two girls are fixing their car in the 1950s. In the Mojave Desert, between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, there's a boulder considered the largest stone in the world. This was on October 15, 1951. An empty stomach, an empty wallet, and a broken heart can teach you the best lessons of life, according to Robin Williams. Jewish men in Krakow are rounded up for forced work detail by members of the Waffen-SS, that's the Schutzstaffel, as a German SS junior squad leader sadistically kicks a man climbing onto the back of the truck. There's a koala drinking from a spoon in Australia in 1900. Resistance fighter Lauritz Zand, they called him the hardest tortured person in Norway, is recovering in the hospital in May 1945. Arrested in 1941, Zand, who was over 60, spent years as a Nazi prisoner. Nansen of Netheroid, a champion borzoi, is having fun pulling his young master around in a toy car. This was in 1937. Selfies are everywhere nowadays, but they've been popular for decades. Here, a 23-year-old Frank Sinatra snaps a bathroom selfie in 1938. This photo shows a woman in Paris, 1950. She looks confident. There are 4 couples left in a dance marathon. The location is Chicago, around 1930. Robert E. Howard, on the right, the guy who created Conan the Barbarian, is with his neighbors Leroy and Faustine Butler, who are brother and sister. They're dressed as pirates and showing off the teenage Howard's sword collection. This was around 1923 to 1925. Ella Fitzgerald and Marilyn Monroe at the Tiffany Club in Hollywood, 1954. The 1980 Summer Olympics were held in Moscow. The Wyoming State Prison baseball team in Rawlins was made up of murderers, rapists, thieves, and a forger. The warden's young son sits in the middle as their mascot. Executions were delayed only as long as they kept winning in 1911. The Blackfoot Tribe in Glacier National Park, 1913. Howard Baker's Band of Bakers, around 1936. The first successful submarine was in 1894. It's an 8-year-old boy leaving Buchenwald Camp in 1945. The San Francisco earthquake of 1906. John F. Kennedy poses with his lifelong friend Lem Billings in 1933. Anne Frank, at the age of 9 in May 1939. She became known posthumously with the 1947 publication of The Diary of a Young Girl, in which she documents her life in hiding from 1942 to 1944 during the German occupation of the Netherlands in World War II. Attorney General Robert Kennedy is comforted by 2 of his children on the lawn of his home after he had been notified of the death of his brother, November 22, 1963. Claudia Cardinale and Jean-Paul Belmondo at the Cannes Film Festival in 1972. The Potato Race, Public School Number 44, New York City, 1919. Prohibition agents are destroying a keg of beer. Conrad O'Brien French greets a bear. Having spent his youth as a Mountie, surviving the First World War and serving as an MI6 agent in the Second World War, he was known to welcome danger. Banff National Park, 1950. The Pied Piper shows his catch in the town square. Louise, Kentucky, 1953. Ugandan Asians in the Netherlands after being expelled by Idi Amin on November 24, 1972. Marilyn Lovell and 3 of her children are watching as Jim Lovell blasts off on Apollo 8 with Frank Borman and Bill Anders. They would become the first humans to orbit the moon. John F. Kennedy has a tea party with his daughter Caroline. Wing Commander James "Johnny" Johnson, the RAF's top-scoring fighter pilot, is shown with his Spitfire and pet Labrador, Sally, in Normandy in 1644. Windows on the World, incredible vintage photo of the World Trade Center's most spectacular restaurant, 1976. In 1983, sweaters were really popular. Animal prints, pearls, checks, and diamonds. Designers set the tone for fashion that was bright and bold. An Arab woman is posing along a rail fence wearing her traditional clothes sometime around the 1910s. It's an autochrome lumiere. Aircraft audio radars individual 1917. Hollywood around 1900.